Welcome back to your latest industry developments. Today there's news surrounding none other than the world's largest passenger plane, the A380, developments over in the Canadian aviation sector as two companies join forces, and some new aircraft at a leading aircraft lessor. Beginning proceedings though with A380 news, and Etihad Airways has announced plans to expand its A380 operation in 2024, with the aircraft set to feature on another route. From April 22, 2024, Etihad Airways says it'll fly the world's largest passenger plane to New York JFK as part of continued expansion efforts, just in time for the busy summer travel period and also essential corporate travel. The Abu Dhabi to New York route is set to grow astronomically. Etihad's A380s feature the Residence, the only 3-room suite in the world, available all in the sky. Etihad notes that the offering includes a legendary flying experience. The team, also at the carrier, believes adding the A380 to the famous New York JFK route makes a lot of sense, as they find ways to meet customer demand. Additionally, introducing the A380 significantly expands Etihad Airways' capacity towards New York and the broader United States. However, importance has been placed on bringing people towards Abu Dhabi, surrounding areas, and such. As part of the announcement, the A380 will operate from Abu Dhabi to New York JFK once a day. However, Etihad Airways will still have a much larger presence towards the Big Apple, with another daily flight utilizing the 7879 Dreamliner, which means there will be 2 daily services for 14 flights per week. The 787 features a 3-class cabin with first, business, and economy options for travelers. Before the A380's deployment to New York, noteworthy developments include the service launch towards Boston, which will be occurring just a few weeks earlier on March 31st. Along with the eye for further expansion, this new route to Boston ties in with the recently announced Journey 2030 plan that will see Etihad Airways more than double its fleet in the next 7 years, while also rapidly increasing its network. Etihad Airways' return of the A380 has made headlines worldwide. This follows them being an airline that seemingly had no place for the Super Jumbo at one point in time in company history. The Abu Dhabi-based carrier joined several other airlines in announcing its intent to retire the aircraft during the height of the global pandemic. As travel demand plummeted and airlines attempted to find ways to cut costs, removing inefficient quad-engined aircraft seemed to make the most sense. This could especially be highlighted for a carrier that has struggled substantially over recent years. Hence, it entered a turnaround plan to cut the billions of dollars that it was losing. However, as demand surged back far quicker than many had anticipated, Etihad Airways was forced to rethink its strategy, and thus the fate of the Airbus A380. In the end, Etihad Airways announced some A380s, but not all, would return to service. However, more importantly, these would only feature on the Abu Dhabi to London Heathrow routing. This was a bold statement of confidence for the critical and in-demand route, and highlighted that this was the only reason they were bringing the type back. Therefore, an announcement of service to New York JFK with the A380 means this is the first route since the return of the series away from London Heathrow. Over to developments in the Canadian aviation sector with Air Transat and Porter Airlines that have extended their codeshare partnership by revealing a groundbreaking joint venture. Thanks to the joint venture created, the two Canadian carriers will look to transform the current landscape with a more competitive offering. The pair will look towards combining their complementary networks and thus offer customers many benefits when it comes to travelling. Air Transat and Porter say this is visible through enhanced travel options across regions such as North, Central and South America, Europe, North Africa, Mexico and the Caribbean. Utilising the existing networks from Toronto Pearson and Montreal Trudeau, the firm belief is this will be a defining moment in the Canadian air travel sector. The pair say that throughout 2024, the alliance will be gradually implemented as part of a historic agreement. In October of 2022, Air Transat and Porter established their codeshare agreement and received a significant amount of attention at the time. By 2023, we're talking now, say, the midway point of this year, Air Transat said they increased traffic by more than 60,000, thanks to the codeshare benefits. Now, in November of 2023, the pair have signed their revenue-sharing joint venture agreement, and the possibilities are what they describe as limitless. At full potential, Air Transat forecasts that 15 to 18% of passengers aboard their services will connect with a Porter flight, a substantial forecast that indicates the opportunities present through this announcement. As Air Transat flies to 60 international destinations and Porter to now over 30 in Canada and the United States, the pair will serve over 80 destinations together to enhance connectivity at key airports. I'd love to hear your opinions down below in the comments on your thoughts on these two companies coming together. Is this a good decision for the long term? You can let me know. Over to the final story of the day, and that sits with HiFly, that have announced plans to expand their own fleet by adding 2 additional Airbus A380-200s. Registered as 9H-HFJ and 9H-HFK, HiFly says the addition will further strengthen their capabilities as a company. Additionally, the mission is to be the continued go-to provider for those requiring extra capacity or, say, aircraft cover. HiFly says the newest A330-200s to join the fleet have 269 seats. At the same time, the cabins are actually identical. These cabins are configured in a 2-class layout with 18 business class seats and 251 economy seats. As mentioned, the 2 A330-200s have been acquired and are now registered with HiFly, but their history within the industry has been definitely historic, if you will. They both started life at Kingfisher Airlines towards the mid to late point of the 2000s before eventually moving to storage. They did fly a short stint with Turkish Airlines before now finally ending up at HiFly. I'd love to hear your thoughts on any of the topics covered in today's aviation news recap down below in the comments, whether it was that coverage on Etihad Airways finally making some groundbreaking news with their Airbus A380s, maybe it is HiFly adding 2 new A330s, or the Canadian aviation scene, which is no doubt going to get a lot more interesting as Air Transat and Porter do come together. How do you see that developing in the coming years? Thank you so much for your continued support here on the channel. It really does truly mean a lot. Make sure you are staying tuned here at the same time tomorrow and the exact same place for your latest industry news. Take care, be safe, and I'll see you next time.